Come on, 2, 3.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Thursday, April 28th, 2022. And our top story today, getting them while they're young, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and financial literacy. And joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Kaz Finley is Educational and Outreach Manager for the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. Kaz, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me today, Jeff.
Yeah, it's great to see you. And we're going to talk financial literacy. And for those who may not be aware, I don't know how, if you watch this program, you could not be aware, but it is Financial Literacy Month, and there are initiatives all over the country. And in particular, we're going to focus on the initiative with the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. Kaz, you and the team have been doing a great job. I think you have a little bit smaller team, but you're a mighty team. What's the outreach efforts look like to get Clevelanders, Ohioans, Americans financially literate?
Well, we try to put forth effort to do outreach throughout the 4th District, which we cover, which is all of Ohio, some of Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia as well. We try to narrow in on grades K through 12, but we also reach the university population as well, giving them tools to navigate not only their financial literacy, but also college and career readiness, and learning how to make strong financial decisions so that they can be real strong consumers in our economy.
Yeah, and Kaz, I mean, you're doing this every day, interacting with people in and around Ohio and across the country. There is a lack of financial literacy, and I guess it all starts, as your point is, it all starts early, sooner rather than later. So K through 12, getting the kids up and running and understanding the value of a dollar, what a dollar means, what money is, what budgeting is, etc.
Yes, and not only that, learning how to apply it to your daily life. That's one of the things we try to truly implement into our lesson plans. Implementing how they can relate these tools to their daily lives, their parents' daily lives, and some of the concepts we introduce, such as budgeting and saving, how they can incorporate it into not only their futures, but as soon as they walk out of the door or walk out of the classroom, they can start to implement something they learned from our session into their practical life. I think that's the essential thing that you really need to learn when you're learning financial literacy content.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and look, I mean, people my age, your age, you have to be a lifelong learner when it comes to financial literacy. I guess things in general, right? I mean, life is a learned experience, it was always told to me, but getting them while they're young, along with their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s, that makes a lot of sense to me, and it kind of has to reaffirm itself and reinforce itself.
Sure, we try to create our content on a continuum basis so that students start at a younger age and consistently grow with us, learning tools that are continually developed in their lives. So while they learn basics of just learning what money is at an early age, by the time they're done learning some of the concepts we introduced to them, they'll learn about monetary policy, for instance, and how the economy is impacted, or our role as the Federal Reserve in the economy, are just some of the things we introduce to them later on in their educational careers. So there are ways we can introduce these things that make them not only educated consumers, but more impactful, educated individuals, so they can share this knowledge with not only their families, but other individuals in their communities as well.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine how much better off everyone would be if they just understood the basics, right? The basics about finance. That doesn't mean you have to be able to understand things in great detail, manage a portfolio, for example. but just the basics. And you and the team at the the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, you have a website, and resources dedicated to this endeavor. If I were to log on, or a parent or a student was to log on, what would they find when they logged on to the site?
Well, they would go to www.clevelandfed.org under the tab of the Learning Center and Money Museum. They would find programs and materials where they can implement these materials, where there are live sessions, programs, and also educational materials and lesson plans that you can implement not only into your classrooms, but parents can implement them into their daily lives. We have some sheets or worksheets that you can use during the summer months where you can teach your kids just practical learning things such as budgeting, savings goals, and activities that are not only educational, but they're also fun for the family to do. You could also go to federalreserveeducation.org, where you'll find endless resources from all Federal Reserves throughout the system that upload content on various topics relative to financial literacy and just finance in general. I would also encourage you, if you're not in our district, to go to that website and see where you can reach a financial a Federal Reserve education educator in your district, connect with them, and build a relationship with them. They have countless resources, and they do outreach as well, such as similar to what our team does. And you can get more resources from there, as well as build a rapport.
Yeah. Kaz, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about improving financial literacy, teaching it, and what you as parents or as students can do to help yourself and your family. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're talking this morning to Kaz Finley of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. Kaz, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
Definitely. Thank you. This is a great topic to discuss.
It's a wonderful topic. And I was going to point out, as I said at the beginning of segment one, financial literacy, this is a month dedicated to financial literacy, but this is something that you should be thinking about, whether you're a parent, a teacher, a student, anybody. You should be thinking about this all year long. It doesn't just stop when April ends, right, Kaz? I mean, it continues in perperpetuity.
I guess I should add these are my opinions, and they do not represent the Federal Reserve or the Federal Reserve System, the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, or the Federal Reserve System. But yes, these are topics, especially financial literacy. This is a topic that individuals should incorporate into their daily lives from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep. I mean, I think finances impact pretty much almost every decision you make, from purchasing food to obviously putting gas in your car right now, purchasing a home or where you live, the neighborhood you live in. I mean, there are so many decisions that some people don't even think about how they're being impacted by finances, even purchasing glasses. I mean, you just think about the practical things you do on a daily basis that are impacted by financial literacy, and just knowing different things about the topic and how you can make a sound decision. So you want to make sure you can have as much knowledge on your end as possible so that you can make sound decisions going forward. And also, as parents and as adults, you can impact the next generation and provide them as many resources or as much knowledge as possible so that they can make sound decisions or have a foundation going forward.
Yeah, and I was just pointing out my reading glasses, which now that I'm in my late 40s, I really need desperately. But I like to hold them too. It makes me feel like I'm smart. But, Kaz, there's so much that we hear in the popular media around the need for emergency savings or not having buy now, pay later loans, which, by the way, can impact your credit report. I have to think that there's $1.6 trillion, give or take, in student loan debt. There's trillions more in credit card debt. A lot of that debt wouldn't exist had people have had financial literacy and really understood what they were getting themselves into, I would think.
Yeah, I guess, again, these are my opinions, and not the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland's and not the Federal Reserve System. I do believe circumstances influence everyone's decisions. So while some people may have that knowledge, I know many people that do have the knowledge, but a circumstance may have determined them making a certain decision or a decision they had to make when they had to take out a specific loan, or when they had to make a decision where they had to charge up a card or make a decision where they had to spend some of their savings. So sometimes decisions or circumstances influence that, and they have a hard time digging their way out of those circumstances as well. So there are factors, but the knowledge that you have also can support how you can dig your way out of those holes. Yeah. And I think that's where financial literacy truly comes into play, because when you are faced with those times when you have to make those decisions, it's always that knowledge you fall back on to say, well, I'm here today. This is how I'll get out of that situation. When you have the knowledge to build on as a foundation, and I think just providing those tools at an earlier age and continuously building on those skills as practice, you continue to build on more skills along the way.
Yeah, I completely agree. And hats off to you and the folks at the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, the Federal Reserve System, for trying to tackle this issue. It's something, a lot of times when we think of the Federal Reserve Bank, we think of Chairman Powell, we think about interest rates. and you don't really know all these other details until you have conversations with someone like yourself. And while you were talking, I'm old enough to remember Schoolhouse Rock. You're probably a young man. You probably don't remember that. But what you were articulating and talking about reminded me of that public service that was done so many years ago. And I think financial literacy really needs to be a part of that. Kaz Finley, it is a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you and the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland back on the program again very soon.
Thanks so much, Jeff. I appreciate you having me, and have a great day.
That wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, somebody you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news in lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, and all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to see our latest content? Search our archives. We'll check out our website and our streaming partners like Amazon, Roku. There's over 100 to choose from. You really can't miss us. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.